Thank you for the warm introduction. I appreciate it. So as some of you might know, I do a lot of networking. I've been with TTR for, oh gosh, 4 years. I've been with Offset House for um, 13, sorry, on paper. So basically, we're a full service commercial printer. Who we help with is a lot of smaller nonprofits, a lot of smaller businesses. And we work definitely with some larger companies as well. I think our largest client is just over 13,000 employees. But we help in the capacity of um, cost analysis, all that other stuff, right? What's important, what are our dollars doing? How are we tracking it? All that other stuff, right? Anymore, it's turned into everyone wears a bunch of feathers in their hat. So anymore, the business has kind of shifted from my earlier years of, hey, let's go out, try and find somebody that we can help, sell value, give them a good price, keep them in line, blah, 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 blah. It goes from there. Anymore, it's we have single people that are being the marketing manager, being the print buyer, running everything up to the board, and trying to police a print vendor is tiresome, right? So anymore, what I've been trying to do is build our brand in a bigger way. When I first hit the streets and tried to introduce people to who we were and everything else, they're like, I've never heard of you guys before. And so like anymore, it's kind of been about building our brand, building our awareness, how we can help. And if we can't do it, who can we provide as far as a contact or somebody else that could give insight on how to help. So really with that, the whole global partnership and everything else that has recently become with TTR, it's been in that aspect or that highlight of how can we help, in that highlight of I'm going out doing a lot of the discovery meetings, meeting with people at the C level all the way down to your first impression or gatekeeper, so to speak, on how can we welcome in clients, make them feel important, give them a touch point, keep that relationship open. Because at the end of the day, the only thing that I provide is a tool to literally gain that relationship, where if somebody is upset or if somebody is excited about something, or overall trying to get good feedback, that's what we try and aim to provide, right? Now some people look at that in a sense of, hey, I want my brand to be really sturdy and look really nice, and not necessarily know what that cost would be associated with it, even starting in a design phase. So there's a lot of education that we also provide to numerous of our contexts that we run into, which really gives me an opportunity to kind of zone in on an individual where I do one-on-ones and say, hey, here's an objection that I've overcame, but I haven't been successful because of XYZ, where strategically you can have that partnership of, hey, have you tried it this way? Or is there another contact who might even be in the same vertical, might even be a competitor, where you can grow that relationship to figure out how to overcome that together as an industry. I think in the most simplistic form of what I aim to try and do is represent my industry as best I can. And I think any true professional, that's the core of what they do it for. I think all the nice fluffy stuff is is really a reward or a benefit of what comes of that. So yeah, I mean, I didn't really prepare a whole bunch for you guys. I mean, as far as my background goes, like I said, I've been with the business for 13 years. I ran printing equipment, ran a lot of binder equipment, mailing equipment. I've been in my current role for 8 years. I've helped businesses find a graphic designer, build out their brand. We've also overcame challenges where the client wanted to dive into a new market and they didn't even know where to start. So even going in a logistical level, not necessarily just a printer, so to speak. We also look at strategies and logistics of what makes sense. I know what I do at the end of the day is not cheap when we're talking to 10,000 people. So how can we make the biggest impact, and how can we track that? So, we get that budget approved by the board next quarter, next year, so we can maintain everything. Because when you're looking at a nonprofit level, or you're looking at a small business, if it doesn't perform, you don't get the money next year. That's just how it works. People are going to find a new way or a new product. So it's kind of keeping everything in line and making sure we're a true advocate of the product that we deliver. But yeah, that's me. That's what I think I do every day. That's what I try and aim to do. But if you guys have any questions that I could help answer, or if there's anything else that you guys want me to say, just let me know.
I don't have any questions, Robert. I just wanted to jump on here real quick because I am going to get off. But one of the reasons that I wanted to, that we want Robert to talk is one thing. Robert is, how old are you, Robert?
32.
He's 32 years old. I'm sorry, that sounds really young to me. I mean, I'm just telling you, he's the same age. And I told him this, and this is not creepy, people. He's the same age as my son, who lives in Colorado. And when he talks, he says the words that my son says, and I get really like, I know, it kind of sounds weird. I've told other people, and Robert knows, and it's not like cougar stuff. I'm married. I'm very happy. It's just more that he is very wise for his age. And I think in this day and age, now you guys are all out there, you're doing much more probably than I am as far as who's out there, but there's not many printers out there that are doing the work, the kind of work and the kind of networking and the kind of relationship stuff that Robert's been doing for Offset House. And I guess one of the things you might not understand, and you maybe, it's a good thing to say, I know Nicole sent out a little description of the global partner. Robert's been a member of our Northside group for 4 or 5 years. I know you said 4. Done a lot of, I think you've got a lot you've gotten a lot of business, but you've given a lot of business. He's connected people like crazy, and he's young. And the fact that he's as wise as he is young, and he's doing what he's doing in an industry that I think, and I don't know, you guys think about printers? Do you think that there's a lot of printers out there what are they even doing? Because there's so much digital stuff. And when you talk to Robert, you find out there's all kinds of things that they're doing. And, I would encourage you to set an appointment with them. But the global partnership basically means we don't have any other printers in our network. So he's the first one, he's the guinea pig, but I've also asked him if we could kind of work together, and we're kind of creating it as we go. The vision for the global partner is to be somebody like Robert, who is very dedicated to his industry, Offset House Printing. If you've not been there to see where they are, and if you don't, maybe you don't need print right now. Maybe that has nothing to, and I don't know, Robert's probably not sitting in his office too much, but it would be worth going to see what they're doing. And they're a family-owned business. I just think that's what we're about, is helping people. Yes. And that is a good question, Nicole. Yes. And I will kind of leave with that in mind, that yes, I would like him to share some of his thoughts on, and not, Robert, it's not to trick you or anything, like you've got to come up with something real big right here, but Robert and I started talking about this and the idea of a global partner, so that you all know, if you're out talking to somebody and they're a unique industry, I'm just saying this, nobody in this group asked me, but I'm not going to kick out any insurance agents. I'm not kicking out any mortgage people. I'm not kicking out any realtors or any, I'm just not going to do that. But we don't have any other printers. So it was like, why don't I give Robert this opportunity? He gets some, special PR and stuff for TTR, but he's going to share hopefully some of the things that he's willing to do for our members, because there should be there should be something that he's giving, that those global partners are offering. I would just say, if you know somebody out there, an industry out there, and you're not sure that we have anybody else in here, we have a credit card, not a counseling, but like a credit card merchant systems payment company that I'm talking to about a global partner. It might also be somebody, maybe there's a restaurant locally, maybe there's a water park. I know it's kind of a weird thing, but maybe an indoor family, like, Dave and Buster's. I'm just using that as an example. But those are the kind of places, those are the kind of industries. Robert was kind of unique. Robert is unique, but Robert was kind of unique in the respect he was already a member. He was dedicated to giving members, we all know we come in here with a serving idea, but he really has done it for 4 or 5 years. I mean, it's just amazing the stuff that he brings. And it's like he has, I don't know, Robert, maybe you don't even realize it, but I've heard so many people in our Northside group saying, well, I had lunch with Robert and he gave me, this, and this referral. And I'm thinking, that's what it's all about. I don't know, Robert, that you get business out of everybody in the Northside group, but you're certainly giving. So, those are part of it. But anyway, Robert, I know you guys are all like, will she just jump off the call, please? I am going to get off the call and I'll let Robert take it from there. I know we're still kind of ironing out, but as far as the agreement goes, but if you know somebody out there or you would like to look at that partnership and, just let me know and I can tell you what the cost is and all of that. We do have a contract that we've got and all of that kind of thing. But really, it's to connect you guys with great people like Robert. You're all great people, but I do think there is an application. It's not just anybody, Joe Schmo. We've had a few people off the street who've come in and wanted me to sell things to everybody. And they didn't want to do any of the work. They just didn't care about making relationships happen. So that is not Robert. So I just would tell you, let's talk, reach out to me. Robert, I hope I didn't step all over your, you did a great job. I guess, just give them some ideas if you can about what thoughts you have. I know you and I still have to kind of iron a few things out, but, just kind of figuring out exactly. And yeah, but I'll leave it with you guys. I don't know. Is that good, Nicole? I think you were asking what kind of things he was.
Yes, thank you. There are.
Look, you're muted. You're muted.
Sorry. Yeah, that is awesome. There are a couple of questions in the comments.
Okay, well, I'll let you guys take it from there.
We'll miss you. Thank you.
And I'm just going to say my win for the week. My dad races horses.
Yes.
And last night he races, what are they? They're standard bred. They have the sulky and everything. I'm sorry, it's totally off the wall, Robert. It's not anything to do with printing, I don't think. But last night he had his first race and he won. He won. He was in a field of 9 horses and he won. This is a big deal. I mean, we were watching, I was screaming and jumping. We were watching it on the internet. So I'm telling you, yeah, I don't talk about, I'm telling you, this is exciting. He was winning at first and then these horses started pulling in front of him and we're like, oh, it's over. He's going to lose. And then the last couple seconds, he pulled up and I'm like screaming. I've got to sing tomorrow. I have no voice, but it was worth it. Okay, anyway. Anyway, have a great day, everyone.
You too.
Thanks for being here, Robert. We appreciate it. You guys have a great day. Yeah, see you later, guys. Sorry, I'm a little wound up. Bye.
Jasmine, did you want to read the questions or there's one from Catherine, a couple from Catherine. Are you able to see them?
Yeah, I can do them. So it looks like, Robert, Catherine has a question about, so giving examples of what exactly you print, and what, and then the other question is, what are the specials that you're offering for the TTR members that might want to reach out to you?
Yeah, so the types of things we print, the only thing I don't really do would be like vehicle graphics, promotional. So that would be your swag items. So your pins, those types of things. And I do have partners that I refer that business out to. And then I would also say graphic design. We really have to roll on efficiency to, really stay alive in this market. So for us to have creative to fall within internal, it just doesn't work very well for us. So anything from, a form to letterhead to business cards, those types of things, those are all things that we can help with. And really the whole process behind that is educating, right? So we figure out, hey, what do we want this to look like? What do we have envisioned for it, and kind of give you what costs are up front and completely educate you on how long this is going to take, and give you a physical proof where you can approve color and, really have that one-on-one unique approach. So when you come around for a reorder, there's no questions asked, you know exactly what to expect, right? So what we can definitely do for the network out loud, I'm more than happy to get aggressive, for your guys's print needs. Now, the thing that I will tell you overall as an industry, the market has switched to kind of looking at this as a consumer based, or excuse me, not consumer, a price, like an e-commerce platform, right? We're going to have you log on our website, build something out, and we're going to give you a super sweet deal where, you can get 100 business cards for $8. I can't pull that through my shop. It just doesn't work. Our minimum order to be out loud with you guys is about $50. So if you ever find yourself in a situation where you are running to a Kinko's, I aggressively would urge you to reach out, because I have heard some very big horror stories. The best example I can give you was about 6 years ago. This individual was going to pay almost $1,800 for postcards. Our cost was $450. So there's a lot of things that we can help in the outside realm of keeping people honest as well. We are in business to do that in some cases. And then also for individuals that have internal collateral platforms that you guys can order from. I've had conversations in the past where I've point on point said, this is how many have to be produced in order for me to offer something close to that price, where it's more or less an audit, any education on that. And if it's not a good fit, I'm going to tell you guys up front. That's really where I'm kind of known for, that is that honest upfront approach, because I want to help solve the problem that you're coming to me with in some type of way. But I mean, as far as you guys go individually, you would get my one-on-one attention if you ever guys needed to request time. I always welcome plant tours. If you've never seen a print shop or you're curious of how that works, that's definitely something we can schedule to have you guys come in for a walkthrough and meet the crew and all the other stuff. I seen a comment. So what type of business requests do you receive from networkers? Okay, so being in the print industry does not necessarily mean I chase one vertical. So I work with indirectly a lot of real estate agents, maybe through the marketing department. Same thing with lawyers, same thing with insurance, same thing all the way up into manufacturing, HR, any of that stuff. So in some folks' eyes, when we're looking at like a human resources contact, sometimes I can do a slam dunk on that because, oh crap, it's the end of the year. We have to get all these documents out. How are we going to get that fixed? And we get it done on time. So I try and point it in the fact of trying to be a hero at the end of the day. So I get good feedback if anything goes awry. But connections are easy for me to give. I look at this in a sense of networking out loud is the easiest way to organically touch my book in a positive way. If business comes from it, great. It's, something I can influence in the sense of, hey, I understand that, there's been a little bit of radio silence, could you at least give me some good feedback on what I could give to this individual? Right. Because, as good salespeople, we always want good feedback, right? Or bad feedback. What did we do wrong? How can we improve on this? You know, we're our own worst enemy when it comes to that stuff. So don't let it brew up. Just ask the question. Is really where I go with that. I'm trying to help paint that picture a little bit better.
Okay. And then the other thing, so one other question, I'm just gonna ask this because I'm the devil in the room and I know BNI and I heard about you and all that stuff. So do you like with especially like this group, there's small business owners. So they're really tiny, you know, they're not necessarily, they don't have 13,000 employees. They might be the only employee. Do you have like a minimum order that you'll take from somebody in TTR, or will you just kind of help as best as you can? Like, I know you said that you offer like 100 business cards for like $8 or whatever. Is that like your smallest thing, or can you do smaller than that for a business owner?
What I would say out loud is unfortunately I couldn't offer something like that. It would just be literally detrimental to really my portfolio for me to sit there and try and push that through. So unfortunately I wouldn't be able to do that, but in a roundabout sense, we can do a full consult on, like, you know, an individual project. That's what you're going to get with us, which I think definitely provides value. There's a lot of shops that aren't going to even come close to giving that level of service. But what I would say is, as far as like a minimum order goes, $50 is really where we need to get started. We are a small business, so I mean, we have 11 employees. But in order for me to be able to pay them wages to make sure we put out a good product, that's where I have to draw the line, unfortunately. But, you know, with that being said, I've been in multiple situations where there's other print shops that I know locally, where I can do exactly what I just said and have them come in and be that vendor that could possibly offer something that I'm not able to, just due to the fact that they are a smaller business. And it is something that they're kind of on that wholesale, where they don't have a sales staff or they don't market. They're strictly reliant on referral. So that's kind of how I weave in and out of that if price comes to be a bigger factor in that situation.
Do you and then the last question I have, and then we can open it up to if anybody else has any questions or anything. Do you help small business owners that maybe have an idea in their head of what they're looking for, but they don't know how, like, what kind of image they want? Do you help with that kind of consultation?
Yep, 100%. So that's exactly what I do for individuals all the way up to your 13,000 employee company. We work a lot within pharmaceutical industry, where we have to cleverly figure out how to make the agency that we're paying way too much money on a retainer that doesn't really understand how things are put together. I'm facetiously talking about agencies, but whatever. Anyway, where we have to paint that picture and make sure it's going to make sense. But that's exactly what I do. So basically, on a request, hey, Robert, you know, we're having this issue with keeping record of XYZ. You know, we don't know if it's a form that we need to do. We don't know if it's a piece of software that we need to look at. We don't know if it's just a sign that we need to put up, right? Where we can look at all those options, educate on cost. We can paint the picture with putting together physical samples. And the designers that I work with, that's just kind of how we work, right? We educate customers upfront on cost. We give them an idea of what timeline should be. And then we also give them examples of previous projects. So, you know, we can start the process, right? That's kind of how we really work on initial jobs, or even reoccurring. You know, things need to change because of this. And especially with supply chain on certain things, I have to change things regardless. And it's just how it is. You know, I have no say so over how fast things are produced or shipped. So have to be a little nimble.
Does anyone have any other questions for Robert? I hope we got, I think we got all the questions in the chat. But does anybody else have any questions? I'm marking this as a one-on-one, by the way, Robert. Yeah, so does anybody have any other questions for Robert at this time?
I just want to say how amazing, Robert, you are. I love all that you offer, and you know, you offer a service, but I love, you know, how you can connect us to others, you know, how you have a service, but you do more, you know, and just what you just said like a few minutes ago, you know, how someone can come with a problem X, Y, and Z, and how you problem solve, you know, and you've got graphic artists standing by, you know, if somebody comes to you, oh, I need this done, and it doesn't fit what you all do, you have somebody that you just call right in, and you get, I just love that. Thank you. So
well, Jasmine's extremely familiar with that graphic artist. So her name's Terry Capron.
I'm very familiar.
So Terry sends me about 7 files a month. And you know, if I didn't have Terry, now granted, I met her back in October of last year. We've probably brought in 15 new accounts just strictly on that level, because they want somebody that they can individually work with, but we were never able to offer that, right? And we also know, you know, just being professionals in our industry, what's good and what's not good for us. So, you know, we can kind of help qualify one another's prospects, so to speak, where we're getting in, I hate to use that phrase, but we're getting into bed with somebody that we know that we, you know, we're not going to have to worry about, right? We're not going to have to worry about the payment thing. We're not going to have to worry about any of the nonsense, because man, there's way too much drama just in the sense of timelines. And well, I'm sorry I couldn't look at it, you know, can you still get it done on time? That's the story of my life on a daily level. So we try and cut out as much as we can before it gets processed.
awesome. Thank you.
Any other questions from anybody? All right, and I think Robert put your contact information in the chat, I believe.
Yeah.
So if anybody wants to reach out to him afterwards, feel free to do so.
I'm going to stop recording. So thank you. Thank you, Robert.
So.